Namaste everyone. Welcome to an exciting journey into the world of natural resources. Today we are going to explore chapter 1 from NCERT textbook Natural Resources and Their Use. Look at this beautiful quote on your screen. We must move toward a regenerative economy, an economy that operates in harmony with nature. This isn't just a fancy word. This is about your future, your planet, and how you can make a difference. By the end of today's lesson, you will understand how the water you drink, the air you breathe, and even the phone you use all connect back to nature's incredible gifts. Let's move forward. So, when does nature become a resource? The magic transformation. Now, here's a fascinating question. When does a tree stop being just a tree and become a resource? Think about it for a moment. The answer is simple yet profound. When we humans can actually use it. But wait, it's not that simple. Notice these four important conditions on your screen. For anything in nature to become a resource, we need to check four boxes. First, do we have the technology to get it? Imagine oil deep under the ocean. It's there. But if we can't reach it, it's not a resource yet. Second, is it economically worth it? If it costs more to extract than it's worth, that's not practical. Third, will our culture accept it? For example, we might not cut trees in sacred groves, even if we could. Fourth, is it available in nature? Obviously, it has to exist first. Here's something mind blowing. Take any object around you, that plastic button on your shirt, trace it back, and ultimately it comes from nature. Everything does. We are all connected to Earth. Just like you organize your books into subjects, we organize natural resources into categories. Why? Because it helps us understand and manage them better. Look at these three beautiful categories. First, resources essential for life: air, water, food. Without these, we simply cannot survive. Take a deep breath now. Feel that there's the natural resources keeping you alive. Second, resources for materials: wood for your desk, marble for buildings, gold for jewelry. These transform nature's gifts into useful objects that make our lives better. Third, resources for energy: coal, petroleum, sunlight, wind. These power our lights, phones, cars, basically our entire modern world. Notice those three obvious resources at the bottom: water, air, and soil. They are so common, we often take them for granted. But what would happen if any one of them disappeared tomorrow? That's why we call them obvious. They are obviously essential. This slide shows us nature's amazing superpower, the ability to heal and create. Look at these two keywords: restoration and regeneration. So, restoration is like when a cut on your skin heals or a forest grows back after a fire. And regeneration means nature's ability to create new life and make things thrive. Now, this creates two types of resources: renewable resources. These are nature's gifts that keeps giving. Solar energy will shine for billions of years. Wind will keep blowing. Rivers will keep flowing as long as we don't disturb their natural cycles. And non renewable resources, these took millions of years to form. Once we use them up, they are gone forever in our lifetime. Coal, petroleum, metals, These are Earth's ancient treasures that we must use very wisely. Here's a scary fact: India's coal reserves might last only 50 more years. That's why we need to be smart and switch to renewables. The good news: we have unlimited solar and wind energy. Here's something interesting: nature didn't read our geography textbooks. Resources are scattered unevenly across our planet. Why? Look at these four factors: geological factors. Some places have mountains with metals, others have plains with fertile soil. Climate conditions. Deserts have different resources than rainforests. Geographic location. Coastal areas have different gifts than inland regions. And that time, some places had millions of years to form oil deposits, others didn't. This unequal distribution creates both opportunities and challenges. Imagine if your state has coal but needs timber, while another state has forests but needs energy. What happens? Trade, cooperation, and sometimes conflicts. There's even something economists call the resource curse. Having too many natural resources can sometimes make countries lazy about developing other industries. But India has been smart. We have used our resources to build industries and create jobs. Punjab case study, a wake up call, success with hidden costs. Now, let me tell you a story that will make you think. Punjab. You know, it as a India's food bowl, right? In the 1960s, Punjab underwent the Green Revolution. It was amazing. India became food self sufficient. But here's what happened behind the scenes. The new high yielding seeds needed more water than traditional varieties. Free electricity meant farmers could pump groundwater endlessly. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides became the norm. Fast forward to today, look at that map in your textbook. The red and orange areas show where groundwater has gone so deep that it's almost unreachable. 80% of Punjab is now overexploited for water. This isn't Punjab's fault, they fed our nation. But it shows us something crucial. Short term success without thinking about long term consequences can create problems. The good news: we are learning and we can heal this with better practices. What's the lesson? We must balance today's needs with tomorrow's sustainability. But wait, before you feel sad about Punjab, let me share an inspiring story of hope. Meet Parma's family from Sikkim. Pema's family was struggling. Expensive chemicals, declining yields, mounting debts. Sounds familiar? But when Sikkim announced its organic farming policy, they took a brave decision. The first few years were tough. Yields dropped as the soil recovered from years of chemical use. But Pema's family didn't give up. They used compost, natural pest repellents like neem and garlic, and grew multiple crops. And then magic happened. Look at these results: premium prices for their produce, beneficial insects and birds returned, tourism increased, and farmers' incomes grew by 20%. And in 2016, Sikkim became the world's first 100% organic state. Today, the whole world studies Sikkim as a model. What's the beautiful lesson here? With patience, wisdom, and determination, we can heal our relationship with nature and prosper. Ancient wisdom for modern problems. You know what's amazing? Our ancestors figured out sustainable farming over 1000 years ago. Let me introduce to Vriksha Ayurveda. Vriksha means tree, Ayurveda means science of life. This ancient science, formalized around the 10th century, contains incredible wisdom. Which plants to grow on which soil types, how to collect and preserve seeds, irrigation techniques for different plants and seasons, natural pest control methods, and proper plowing to help soil organisms thrive. Isn't it fascinating? While we are trying to solve modern agricultural problems, our ancestors had already figured out sustainable solutions. They understood that soil has living organisms, fungi, bacteria, earthworms that need care. This teaches us something profound. Sometimes the best way forward is to look back and learn from traditional wisdom, then combine it with modern technology. We don't need to choose between old and new. We can blend the best of both. Now comes the most important part. What can we do? Look at this word, stewardship. It means taking care of something that's been entrusted to you. Earth's resources have been entrusted to us. We are not owners, we are caretakers for future generations. For renewable resources, we must respect their natural cycles. Don't harvest faster than they can regenerate. Give forests time to grow back. Let rivers flow clean. Protect soil health. For non renewable resources, use them wisely until we find sustainable alternatives. This is why solar and wind energy are so important. But here's something deeper. Our textbook mentions Lok Sangraha from the Bhagavad Gita. It means acting not just for yourself but for the well being of all. Imagine if every decision we made considered, is this good for everyone? Humans, animals, plants, future generations. You are not too young to be stewards. Every time you save water, avoid waste, or plant a tree, you are practicing stewardship. India's solar leadership, leading by example. Here's something to make you proud of India. In 2015, India and France launched the International Solar Alliance. Imagine sunshine rich countries joining hands to harness solar power. India didn't just talk about clean energy, we acted. We have channeled billions of dollars into solar projects, shared technical expertise, and created affordable financing for developing nations. And look at that amazing image in your textbook. The solar park in Rajasthan, one of the most largest solar parks. It can generate enough electricity to power 15% of Rajasthan's needs. This represents both environmental responsibility and economic opportunity. India is showing the world that developing countries can lead in clean energy. For you, as young Indians, this is your legacy. A country that choose to be part of the solution, not the problem. You are inheriting a nation that leads in sustainable development. Now, let's move on to the questions. Question 1 is asking what can make what is today a renewable resource non-renewable tomorrow. वो क्या चीज़ है जो आज के रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स को कल के नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स में कन्वर्ट कर सकती है. डिस्क्राइब सम एक्शंस दैट कैन प्रिवेंट दिस फ्रॉम हैपनिंग. और ऐसे हम क्या एक्शंस ले सकते हैं जो एक रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स को नॉन रिन्यूएबल में कन्वर्ट होने से रोकें. So the answer is a renewable resource can become non-renewable if we overexploit it, meaning we use it faster than nature's capacity to regenerate it. For example, अगर हम वाटर को ग्राउंड वाटर को एक्सट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं उसके रिप्लेनिश होने की कैपेसिटी से जल्दी, तो वाटर एक नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स में कन्वर्ट हो सकता है। सिमिलरली फॉर फॉरेस्ट्स, अगर हम पेड़ों को काटते जा रहे हैं फॉरेस्ट में उस रेट से जो कि ज़्यादा है नए ट्रीज के ग्रो होने से, तो ये हमारे फॉरेस्ट को एक नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स में कन्वर्ट कर देगा। एंड फॉर फिश स्टॉक्स, अगर हम ओवर फिशिंग कर रहे हैं देन इट कन्वर्ट्स it into a non-renewable resource. So what actions can we take to prevent this? Sustainable harvesting. We can implement rules like fishing bans और timber cutting limits. हम कितने ट्रीज कट कर सकते हैं या कितने फिशिंग कर सकते हैं उस पे अगर हम एक लिमिट लगा दें देन वी कैन प्रिवेंट दिस। वाटर कंजर्वेशन, प्रमोटिंग रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग एंड एफिशिएंट इरिगेशन। अगर हम रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग को बढ़ावा देते हैं सो वी कैन स्टॉप वाटर फ्रॉम बिकमिंग अ नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स। Afforestation, we can plant more trees and reducing consumption and waste. We can adopt a mindful lifestyle जिससे कि हमारा जो वेस्ट और कंजम्पशन है वो कम हो जाए। Question 2. Name 5 ecosystem functions that serve humans. When natural ecosystem functions benefit humans, we call them ecosystem services. 5 examples are, सो व्हेनेवर कोई नेचुरल इकोसिस्टम हमारे ह्यूमंस के लिए बेनिफिट के लिए फंक्शन करता है सो वी कॉल देम इकोसिस्टम सर्विसेज। फर्स्ट वन इज वाटर फिल्ट्रेशन। जब फॉरेस्ट और वेटलैंड्स नेचुरल फिल्टर्स की तरह बिहेव करती हैं जो हमारा वाटर प्योरीफाई करते हैं सो वी कॉल इट एज इकोसिस्टम सर्विस। ऑक्सीजन प्रोडक्शन, सो जो ट्रीज और प्लांट्स हैं वो ऑक्सीजन प्रोड्यूस करते हैं जिससे हम सांस ले पाते हैं, उसको हम एज अ सर्विस ट्रीट करते हैं। सॉइल इरोजन कंट्रोल, प्लांट रूट्स होल्ड सॉइल टुगेदर। पॉलिनेशन, जब इंसेक्ट्स जो कि जैसे बीज होते हैं वो पॉलिनेट करते हैं क्रॉप्स को जो कि एसेंशियल होता है हमारे फूड प्रोडक्शन के लिए, सो इट नेचुरली बिकम्स अ इकोसिस्टम सर्विस। क्लाइमेट रेगुलेशंस, जो फॉरेस्ट होते हैं वो हमारे लिए कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अब्जॉर्ब करते हैं जो कि हमारा ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट को रेगुलेट करता है। क्वेश्चन 3. What are renewable resources? How are they different from non-renewable ones? What can people do to ensure that renewable resources continue to be available? So the question है कि renewable resources क्या होते हैं? So ये वो resources होते हैं that can be replenished by nature over time. For example, solar, wind, etc. And how are they different from non-renewable resources? जो नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज होते हैं वो एक फिक्स्ड क्वांटिटी में अवेलेबल रहते हैं एंड इफ वी कंज्यूम देम मच फास्टर देन दे कैन बी like they can be how to ensure their availability. Practice sustainable consumption, prevent pollution of these resources, and invest in restoring degraded ecosystems. Example, अगर हम फॉरेस्ट के लिए एक एफॉरेस्टेशन प्रोग्राम चलाएं तो हम उसे प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं। सिमिलरली फॉर ग्राउंड वाटर, इफ यू अडॉप्ट रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग एंड यूज एफिशिएंट इरिगेशन इट विल बी प्रोटेक्टेड। Identify cultural practices in your home and neighborhood that point to mindfulness in the use of natural resources. So इसमें आप अपने आसपास अपने घर के आसपास कोई भी एग्जाम्पल ले सकते हैं जो आपके घर के आसपास हो रहे हो। यहाँ पे कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स दिए गए हैं। जैसे कि हम रीयूज़ करते हैं हमारे पुराने कपड़ों को, या फिर हम अपनी पुरानी बुक्स को किसी ज़रूरतमंद को दे देते हैं, या फिर हम ओल्ड जार्स को स्टोरेज के लिए यूज़ करते हैं। A jar of jam to store something by your mother. Conserving water. Using leftover water from washing vegetables to water plants. Or you must have seen the wastewater coming from your RO is used for mopping the floor or washing the floor. Respect for food. हमारे कल्चर में एक स्ट्रॉन्ग हमारा कल्चरल एम्फेसिस है कि हम जो है फूड को वेस्ट ना करें। इन सम कम्युनिटीज एंड इन सम कल्चर्स वी कॉल इट प्रसादम, the one that is offered to God. So we can't waste it. It is pure for us. Worship of nature. So आपने देखा होगा आपके घर में सूर्य को जल दिया जाता है या फिर तुलसी के पौधे में जल दिया जाता है, जो कि हमारा उनके प्रति एक रिस्पेक्ट होता है। So in this way we worship the nature. Biodegradable materials. Using leaf plates, पत्तल फॉर फीस्ट, और हम मिट्टी के कुल्हड़ में पीते हैं। What are some considerations to keep in mind in the production of goods for our current use? हमें क्या अपने मन में वो पॉइंट्स रखने चाहिए जिसे हम कंसिडर कर पाएँ कि हमें कौन से गुड्स को प्रोड्यूस करना है फॉर करंट यूज़। सो हमें उस प्रोडक्ट की एंटायर लाइफ साइकिल जानना चाहिए। उसका सोर्स ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल क्या है? क्या वो रिन्यूएबल और हार्वेस्टेड है सस्टेनेबली? कहीं उसके बनाने से, उस प्रोडक्ट के बनाने से हम एयर, वाटर और सॉइल को पॉल्यूट तो नहीं कर रहे? कितनी एनर्जी यूज़ की जा रही है? क्या वो एक रिन्यूएबल सोर्स से आ रही है? और उसका प्रोडक्शन हमारी लोकल कम्युनिटी और एनवायरनमेंट को कैसे इफ़ेक्ट कर रहा है? क्या वो जो प्रोडक्ट डिज़ाइन है वो लास्ट करेगा कई टाइम तक? और क्या हम उसे रिपेयर, रीयूज़ और रिसाइकिल कर सकते हैं? सो इन पॉइंट्स को ध्यान रख के हमें गुड्स का प्रोडक्शन करना चाहिए। थैंक यू।